Hello, welcome to the weekly portion of Dvarim. We start the last book of the 5 books of Moses, and here we are going inside about the parasha with the ideas of Ramchal. So let's see what he is whispering us. אלה הדברים אשר דיבר משה אל כל ישראל בעבר הירדן במדבר בערבה מול סוף בין פערן ובין תופל לבין חצרות ודי זהב. These are the words Moses spoke unto all Israel beyond the Jordan, in the wilderness, in the Arabah, over against Suk, between Paran and Tophel, Laban, Hatzerot, Dizahab. So after 40 years of wandering, Bnei Israel finally arrived at the Jordan River. They have to prepare to cross over it and to enter to the Holy Land. And before Moses is passed on the leadership to Joshua bin Nun, he wanted to prepare his people, which he did through this series of talk and speeches. So it is important to understand that those who commit sins is often struggle to view themselves objectively. So that is making it difficult for them to change in their habitual behavior. That is very natural. And such individuals are convinced that their actions are correct because their experiences and all the social background that they are shaping their worldview. Achieving internal change is extremely challenging, and only a few succeeded in that. So, generally, a significant trauma, so profound spiritual growth are required for this, something that the average person may not always to be capable of. As the Talmud Brachot states, a prisoner cannot free himself from prison. So everyone has a weak points that are very difficult to overcome. But if they succeed, it is going a major step forward in their spiritual development, the tikkun, the rectification. So in this parasha, we see that those who have already made mistakes and has fallen into the captivity of impurity, or the tumah, find it very difficult to free themselves from this state, as I mentioned. This is the reason where they often need for another people, another person to help to find a way out, that someone from outside can more easily recognize the right direction. So the Jewish people also committed many mistakes during their desert wandering and were unable to free themselves from these bonds. However, in these final days of Moses, that is dedicated for purifying his people, thus preparing them for Yehoshua bin Nun to pass over this leadership into he's going to lead the Jewish nation to the Holy Land. אלה הדברים אשר דיבר משה אל כל ישראל בעבר הירדן במדבר בהמרה מול סוף בין פרן ובין תופל לבין חצרות ודי זהב. Okay, this is even the first what I read you before, but here still from another angle. So this is the book of Dvarim, also known that is a Mishneh Torah, the repetition of the Torah, where Moses recites the laws of the Torah again and recounts the events of the Israelite desert wandering. So these 40 years of wandering and these 42 encampments were not just a physical start, but also these were stages of spiritual development. The people could not move forward once they had only that overcome the challenges of each location that included. And we had the Ananei Kavod, the cloud of the divine, serve as a sign for when it was time to go for the next station and the next development. There were times when people progressed, and there were instances where they made mistakes in moments of potential spiritual growth. So this is normal. So this chapter mentions these 7 locations that are associated with the negative events, impurity, and the tumah. So this sins had already occurred, and the people had to confront the consequences. Okay, that was they couldn't enter the Holy Land, the whole generation. Perhaps we can learn from our mistakes as well. Okay, Moses repeated the Torah's law to reinforce the sanctity, the kedusha of the people. So Moses and Joshua were both leaders of Bnei Israel, but they represented 2 different areas. In Moses' time can be seen as a golden age. Okay, it is referring for as a sun. And why Yehoshua period can consider a silver age, it is referring for the moon area. And Moses' era was characterized by the masculine, the giving energy, while Yehoshua area embodied a feminine, a receptive energy. So the feminine energy, which basically accepts and processes new impulses, is more inclined to implore new things, which can be basically an opportunity for growth, but also can carry risks. For example, it was no accident that the serpent tempted Eve during the first sin in the Garden of Eden. So Moses understood that Joshua's leadership is a period is dominated by the feminine energy that would emerge. Therefore, he saw it is particularly important to repeat and emphasize the rules and the frameworks which Messiah must adhere. In doing so, Moses sought to prepare his people for the challenges they lay ahead. And here we having the first battle in the even basically entering the Holy Land. ויאמר השם אלי ראה החליטתי תת לפניך את סיחון ואת ארצו החל רש לרשת את ארצו. And God said unto me, Behold, I have begun to deliver Shihon and his land before thee begin to possess his land. So the first battle for the Holy Land is occurred even before crossing the Jordan River at Heshbon. The place, this is the name of the place. Following this, they engaged in combat on the land of Og, with the king that is called Bashan. ויאמר השם אלי, אל תראה אותו כי בידך נתתי אותו ואת כל עמו ואת ארצו ועשית לו כאשר עשית לסיחון מלך האמורי אשר יושב בחשבון. And God said unto for me, Fear him not, for I have delivered him, all his people and his land into thy hand, and so shall do unto him to this unto Sihon king of Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon. So the Creator wants Moses to be cautious of the king Og, this called Bashan, but not to fear Shihon, the previous enemy. So why is differentiating between Og and Shihon? So Og's people, the territory that living in the Og territory, those people had previously encountered the Jewish religion. They visited Abraham's tent and converted to Judaism. Within the men, they underwent a circumcision. This is precisely what makes them dangerous, as they had the Brit Milah, the circumcision, that is symbolizing a covenant with the Creator, and that is giving them divine protection. Yet, despite all this covenant and the Brit Milah, these people turn against the Jewish people, so they are not representing it is not what they really want right now, but they had the potential of being protected. So this is why the Torah says, Al tiru oto, do not fear him. This phrase not only referring for Og, but also alludes to the symbol of the covenant, that is meaning Od, also a sign. This is for the Brit Milah. So Og's people is reminding us for the Brit Milah. Og's people deviated from the path of the Creator and become enemies of the chosen people of the Creator. So this is because the Jewish nation are the chosen nation. Therefore, the Creator warned Moses not to let the connections of previous generation mislead him. Okay. Ultimately, both nations, Og and Shihon, were defeated, and both represented impurity and on different sides of the Tumah. The lands they possessed were eventually given to the tribe of Reuben, Gad, and partially to Manasseh. So these territories and battles symbolizing struggle against impurity. So interestingly, each of these tribes was led by the firstborn of these representative matriarchs. We have Reuben was Leah's firstborn, Gad was Zilpah's firstborn, and Manasseh was Asenat's firstborn. Osnat firstborn. Okay, so and that it makes it very interesting, and this is what I prepared with the help, the idea of Ramchal that I'm sharing with you. Thank you that you are with me by streaming, and see you next week. Bye bye.